All right, today we're taking a look at all the big changes that were made in the new GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition updates that released recently. First, I want to say that they released the update for all platforms now. Before, it was just PS4 and Xbox Series X and S and PC, but now it's on PS4, Xbox One, as well as Nintendo Switch. They also made these changes to mobile. However, for the mobile devices, it will be leaving Netflix pretty soon. So getting straight into it, we of course have the classic lighting mode. This is obviously probably the biggest change that we had for this update. So it's an option in your settings if you want to turn it on or off. I recommend turning it on, of course, where it brings back the lighting from the original games. So overall, this is going to be on by default anyways, but just looking at some comparisons, you could definitely see the night and day difference. And this is what I talked about in my other video. If you guys want to check it out, link will be in the description. Rockstar had to remaster these games for sure. It's great that they did. I'm glad that they did. But the problem is that with grocery games, they kind of overdid it way too much and making it look like an entire modern title or just up to standard with how it is today, which is cool. But a lot of people do want to still have that classic feeling, so I'm glad that they decided to add this back, and you could definitely see the difference in a lot of different parts. And honestly, there's a lot of times where I'm looking at the new versions right now, comparing it to the original PS2 versions, and I'm just like, they're pretty much almost the exact same, which is definitely the look a lot of people want us to go for. The next change is that we can now pause in cutscenes. So if you're, watching the cutscene, you just want to do something real quick or whatever, and you don't want to miss any dialogue or any, things that you want to see, go ahead and pause it, do what you gotta do, and come back. Overall, it's not the biggest feature, but it is useful to some. And then kind of going along with the lighting, the fog as well as the wind and also sand in the games, especially San Andreas, is definitely visible completely. When it came to the original versions that released back in 2021, there was pretty much no fog at all. It just kind of looked boring. And I mean, in real life, you got to understand that there has to be a bunch of fog or, at least some ambient stuff in the clouds to make it look and feel like, real life. But the problem is just that when it came to the originals, like you could literally see the entire city, the entire map from just one place that you're standing, which is something that a lot of people really did not like. It's not how the original games were, and it takes away a lot from how it's supposed to be like in real life. So I'm glad that they decided to fix that. They overall have changed it over the past few updates that released, but this is the one that definitely showed a lot where it's actually really back, and you can see a huge difference, and it just makes the game a lot more better. The next change is definitely going to be some animation. So we all know the game first released, there was a bunch of issues with the crouching as well as how characters look, but when it came to now, it's improved a lot better. Crouching is a lot more correct. CJ crouches correctly, the bike animations as well, even drinking soda from the vending machine is correct too. Just a lot of little things. I don't know how this was even messed up in the first place, but I'm glad that it's correct and how it's supposed to be, because honestly at first it was really embarrassing to see a lot of the cutscenes and just wonder exactly why things were looking like that. It just obviously just looked completely just dumb, but I'm glad that it's changed. And then another thing that's been changed is the parallax interiors. This is a huge thing that we realized, especially in the beginning when the trilogy first was announced. You can see that the interiors have been completely changed. If you don't know what that is, basically parallax interiors are where they make it so that it looks like the interior is real or something's inside, just to make it more realistic. And it's just seen a lot, especially in like Spider-Man games, and just a lot of other games as well. Instead of just having like a flat or blocked out window, it just makes the game look a lot more cooler and just feels like you're actually like living in a real life city. So it's just added on things just like that, and they had it since the beginning. Overall, now they do still have it, but they have removed it from a lot of the buildings, so it makes it a bit more like the classic games and just not overdone as much, because before it was definitely way too many interiors, or almost every single one had it, which is great. But again, we have to keep that classic feeling when it comes to the trilogy. Huge change that was added that I think a lot of people realized from the start, especially myself, is the fact that we can now run and gun. So basically, when you have a shotgun or even a revolver, specifically like in Vice City, you're able to move around and shoot with it. Before, you had to kind of like stand still and shoot it. I think in the originals that's exactly how it was, but overall it's not the best. It doesn't give the most variety in gameplay wise, so it's an added feature to the game that makes it a lot more easier. And this goes for all three titles as well. You're able to run around, shoot the guns how you want to, not have to be stuck in a standalone place. And it's honestly just going to make the game a bit more easier, because when it comes to certain enemies, it kind of got difficult because you had to stand and make sure you shoot correctly, and while you're standing still, doing all that animation, they can start shooting at you. But now, since you're able to move around with it, it's a lot more better for the game. As for the remaster itself, we originally know that was made by Grove Street Games. They're the company that did this. Obviously not the best job that was done by them, as we've seen from a lot of the talk in the community. But previously, when you launched the game, you would actually see that it would say this version is by Grove Street Games. You would also see their logo plastered for all three titles when they're launching it. However, now they're officially fully removed from the game, so you're not going to see any logos from them, especially in the intro. So we know it's made by a different company now, and they did fix pretty much all the major bugs that were in the the game from Ghost Street Games. So I feel like Rockstar just felt like, you know, they just didn't do that much of a good job and that they shouldn't even be in the game at all at this point. A small change is that you can also now see the date and the time for the save. So I think for most modern titles like GTA 5 or Dirt 2, all that, you do have that in the game. So this is just a small little added feature just to keep track and just know when you finish the game, when you started the game, whatever. And then overall for all three titles, there is going to be a lot of minor little changes that have happened. So, you know, little bug fixes here and there, but there's overall just a lot of things where like characters look a lot more better. There's better performance like for FPS, you know, lighting is better in certain places, little things like collision, you know, for certain buildings or certain, you know, objects in the world are just changed. That's across all three titles. I'll leave a link in the description to the patch notes officially from Rockstar, and also patch notes that are made for people in the community, especially video sex. I'll leave a link in the description. So thanks for the information for sure. But yeah, just know that there's a lot of little interesting things that Rockstar changed and all that. So there's no, if you ever see a certain thing that wasn't there before or was added on, just know that it was definitely fixed by the other company as well as Rockstar. So overall, again, great fixes, great update for sure, huge update for sure as well. On the, you know, basically 3-year anniversary since it released. It released on November 11th, 2021. They released it on the 12th. I'm glad that they also brought it to all the consoles and platforms. Now, again, of course, there's still gonna be bugs in games, issues, glitches, whatever that happens, but a majority of them are fixed, and it's overall something that you might not even realize unless you're really looking for it, which is kind of like how most games are nowadays. And overall, if Rockstar just has another huge update that they released, then this is going to be even more better to just fix like pretty much every single one. So we'll have to see when that releases. I'll keep you guys updated, but hope you guys did enjoy this video breaking down the big changes for this update. And if you guys want to see more, subscribe, put on post notifications, don't forget to drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.